right now. They have lost, however, MCE. And now it's Elige and Twist picking up those next couple kills. They expand in. I mean, they didn't even plant well, they did plant the bomb, but they've just murdered and murked everybody on the front lines. They didn't necessarily need to do that. Only Voltage left, and I don't think he's even going to be able to get a good look at the A side ever again.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you see a lot of different variations of that same pistol round of Mirage on A. It's very popular stuff to throw like a smoke on stairs, maybe one jungle, attack into CT spawn, or maybe you smoke CT spawn and you actually want to attack into jungle. There, they just threw a smoke on connector, and they just took duels everywhere. Like, they pushed CT spawn, they pushed window room, and they won all of their fights. And at that point, if everything's going your way, it's going to be just a total collapse at that point. So easy victory there for Liquid. Didn't lose a single member. Obviously, dignitas will be force buying up some CZs and armor, which obviously can be very dangerous to deal with, as this is basically Liquid's default that they're running here in the second round. Naf has been kind of their outside A player that he joined. We see dignitas getting aggressive in middle. They do get one kill, but it's traded back.
And Nitro's on the top of mid. Well, it looked like there was a potential there to take a couple extra bodies, but now they've picked up a couple more, and they made that round at least moderately expensive for Team Liquid. But at the end of the day, they lose a couple SMGs. They keep a decent amount of utility and armor, of course, on Twists and Nef. So
yep,
they won't have themselves a throwaway round, if you will. If they continue that pace of no casualties on board, everybody keeps what armor they have on, and they could just keep pressure up on SMGs, then you would see that into the eventual rifle round for Dignitas. But since Dignitas are virtually keeping Team Liquid within arm's reach, you'll have a pretty competitive rifle round when it comes.
And we see a 4-man window stack here from Dignitas, and this is probably not going to go well. Luckily for them, the Molotov actually missed, so they get to kind of stay in window a bit longer, but they're all trapped in the corner, and as they strafe out, they should be dealt with here, as Liquid do push into A, into window room, and clear that out. So it is 3-0 for Team Liquid, but here is where the money should show up for Dignitas. Expect to see Voltage get that AWP out, and this is certainly a map where if you have a good dynamic CT AWP player, that can really open up a lot of opportunities for your team. Definitely lots of opportunities for aggression on this map from CTs at Palace and mid, so we'll just have to see what type of form Dignitas are in and what they want to try. But Liquid, again, very effective 5 rifle setups now that Naf's on board. You're going to see it right here, but Voltage gets a shot off before the smoke blooms. That's an early advantage for Dignitas.
Oh yeah, Team Liquid a little bit overconfident before that smoke actually makes it in there. Took that trek and got punished for it. However, Dignitas, even with a man up right now, are very, very shortchanged when it comes to utility. They do need these frags. They're going to take an aggressive stance into A main, where it appears both Mitch and Connor are going to be supporting one another, getting a 2-man advantage now, leaving Twist and Nitro alone. And there's been a boost up. Grim's actually up on top of the boxes on Catwalk, and he'll have a field day with Nitro and Twist, who are only expecting to be countered by any CT on Catwalk until they got about halfway up those stairs.
Yeah, I think that's just Dignitas throwing out a bunch of gimmicks at once, basically. I mean, sure, Voltage is just a standard op pick at middle because Liquid crossed mid a little bit too fast for the smoke bloom, so that's just like a really simple error that costs them a player. But then you have Connor playing an aggressive A ramp position, which isn't super common, and then you have a boost on Catwalk, it's a couple of kills. So it's definitely a lot of different tricky things got thrown at Liquid at once there, and they kind of crumbled under all of it, but they still have money for a full buy here. Again, that's what's great. Like, in the past, this might be around where Liquid wouldn't want to buy because they want to save for an out for JDM, but now they don't have to do that. They can go for a mixed buy like this. Even if Twist is a bit short-handed, he's still going to be dangerous with the CZ, and they have a full 5 rifle set up with everyone else.
This is pretty crazy. They don't even wait for any utility. They push straight into A main. That's a fantastic trade, but Mitch is in sandwich. A little bit late on the communication as well. It's going to cost Nitro his life. So Mitch needs some help, or does he? He's mowed down yet another one. It is only Nafly, and he's underneath Palace. I don't even know if he makes it down there sneaky enough if he's able to pick up more than 1 kill. But Dignitas make that hold, and it was looking a little bit sketchy in the round prior with how little utility they have. But that's fine, especially if Team Liquid are willing to play as fast as they are, and Dignitas don't need a deep pocketbook when it comes to smokes, mollies, and flashes.
I mean, that's just a stout defense from Dignitas. Liquid got a decent entry up A ramp to start with, but quickly crumbled after that. And so Dignitas are starting to work themselves back towards a tie. We have a full save from Liquid, basically. Looks like they are just going to be gathering up over towards B apartments and see if they can't waterfall out and get a bomb plant, but MCE slowing that down with an incendiary. So Liquid will have to kind of just sit back and wait for that to fade if they do want to, in fact, commit to B here shortly.
This is always going to be scary. Unarmored, coming in through the B apartment halls. It's so narrow, and the grenades have so much more impact in that tiny, tiny chokehold, especially when you're unarmored. But the timing may just be right. Mitch is going to throw a one-way smoke, or attempt to throw a one-way smoke. He's spotted over the top of that one. And it looks like Team Liquid will take that tiny window of opportunity to boost up into window. Steel's made his way in, and they're looking for a couple kills. I don't know if the bomb plant's going to be quite out of reach for them to be able to pull off, but Steel's position right now is completely unchecked. He gets a double dink on the back line of that one, but the weapon's not going to be recoverable. The front line push through the connector side of things at least nets another kill to even up the score line as long as players are concerned. Voltage turns things around from CT back towards Ticket Booth and kill the player on the back line to mark it. So this is a fantastic round for Liquid so far with a potential to win.
Yeah, they've done really well to trade into connector and get into window. I think MC did spot a Liege, though, and that means Voltage is going to be able to come around with the information and catch this flank through spawn, but he still dies to it. He knew it was there, and Liege had low health. Didn't matter as he had the op, but Liege is a bit faster on the trigger finger. Now they're going to get this bomb planted. Twist still has 100 HP with that M4 as well. The only thing that hurts them is there's no armor on the board, but it just won't matter. Liege with the Ticket Booth peek, and that is Liquid making something out of nothing right there. Really well done by Steel to get around the boost and catch someone off guard stairs, and just fantastic trading through and through. Liege making plays through spawn. That's just, I feel like, the individual skill shining through from Liquid as they just kind of straight up outduel Dignitas, even with lower firepower.
Yeah, only P250s, no armor, no nothing. They get in there, they steal weapons, they steal a round away, and it was all on that window boost that was left unchecked. And right now, as it stands, Liquid's economy gets a nice little influx, and in fact, they have that 2-round lead, so they're still sitting pretty. Nitro's off is at AMA, and they're going to try and precursor this with a flashbang. Nitro will see that a CT crossed that angle, so he'll fall back a little bit, at least temporarily. You don't want to expose this op too early, so it does look like he'll trade places with Naf, who will take the top catwalk here above A main with an AK.
Yeah, this is their typical default here. They do incorporate an op every now and then. Nitro is the one who takes it the bulk of the time. You will see Naf and Twist occasionally take it, maybe based on a spawn or a particular tactic. And obviously, you know, on CT side, it's a little bit different as well. But this is just Liquid slowing it down. Nitro didn't find what he wanted up A-ramp with the op. He didn't force anything further than that. He's just repositioned the AWP into middle, just watching any type of cat aggression as they do kind of stabilize with this mid control. But now it's about where they want to take it from here. As they do have Naf, who's made it around towards T-spawn. I don't think they're quite sure yet. I think they just want to see if they can find a pick somewhere at top cat. I don't think they're even committed to what they want to do just yet. But as the time ticks, they may be looking for a B split.
They want B, and they're taking their sweet time. It did look like Grim. The smoke fades at top connector right now. Grim has to tell them on the B site that he couldn't see cat. And so Team Liquid just take a long stroll on the beach down catwalk into the B site, uncontested barring MCE, who is quickly taken care of, and it's an instant save call, which is a great call. You've got armor, you've got some utility, you've got the ops and rifles, what have you. Just take a look at it in the next round.
Yeah, especially with only a 2-round loss bonus coming in next round, and 3 of their players are at $0, so they really needed to save these guns to have anything to work with in the next round. And it's fair enough. Like, you got completely out-positioned in this round, and so trying to force a retake with little utility, got one guy without armor, it's definitely worth it given their money situation just to go ahead and tap out and say, all right, we got juked that round. And like you said, I mean, there's that smoke on connector, which denies vision from A into catwalk, and then it is at that point all down to the B players themselves to make a stand. And I mean, 3 guys just walked up cat and killed the guy in sight. I mean, that's GG right there.
Yeah, you need better mid presence if you're Dignitas, even if it's a play like that. That may have been a cut your losses type strategy for Dignitas if they know that their money's vulnerable in a spot like that. Put the bulk of your forces on that A site, gamble it that way. If MCE ends up getting overrun on the B site, so be it. He only loses a CZ and what have you. It's kind of a gamble strat when it comes to stacking one side or another, similar to what you would see in Cobblestone, where a lot of times you'll end up seeing a weak CT economy and they are overwhelmed and you end up with a 5-man save. But Nitro spots, Voltage was boosted up. They were trying a little head boost on that angle, but that smoke will plug it up and at least reset the positions for both teams.
Yeah, they tried to boost on the opposite side of what's natural for a T-opper to see when someone's going aggressive on B apartments. So that was a decent thought. It's just he kind of caught a glimpse of someone's shoulder as they were doing it, and I think they realized it and quickly backed off of it. So that was good. You know, it's kind of one of those things where yeah, you didn't get what you wanted, but you didn't lose anything from it either, as we see Liquid now pouncing on the utility.
They're jumping right into a stack. Grim's able to pick up the first, and still Grim beneath. Twist is able to boldly stand out on top of that platform and at least pull him down, but Connor has shown up to pick up the pieces and at least reinforce this region. And I believe the Opper Voltage was spotted behind the pillar, so his territory is getting real thin real fast. He's going to have to rely heavily on Connor, who's now been taken down, and Voltage scopes in, and Twist just swings out too wide, race car peak style, and Liquid will take another round.
It's one of those things where dignitas had a good read what was happening, right? I mean, they had some aggression in middle, and, you know, the utility Liquid's throwing pretty well telegraphs what's about to happen. And so dignitas were able to get, you know, a good amount of forces in the site, but at the end of the day, even if you know what's coming, you still have to be able to stop it. And in Liquid's, you know, individual talent just coming through really strong there, winning some key duels. I mean, I think Twist had 4 kills on that round, so definitely was able to make a lot of things happen for Liquid there. Now, because of it, dignitas are on to mostly a full save, a couple of upgraded pistols and armor, and they do get a pick on Naf on A ramp. Get them in AK in Mitch's hands, but he has low HP. I expect them to pass it to someone else that has higher health or maybe armor.
He's got to go to Grim, I would assume. I'd assume Grim to be a better rifler than Connor. Both of those players have armor, so those are your only 2 suitors, I'd say, for that. Catwalk, there's a little bit of a tussle over there. Connor does as he may, but Mitch ends up being the sole proprietor of this AK. And he hears the keys coming. Take the first, look for the next. That is Nitro that's at 20 HP. The Molotov will push Mitch out, and it's just enough.
That was a little bit closer than maybe people would think. Like, the damage that was done on Cat there was actually pretty high. Like, Elysian and Nitro both got taken down a substantial amount. I think if it wasn't for Twist catching a couple of key kills in middle on Connector and the Catwalk push, that could have easily maybe gone the other way, or at least been a lot more dangerous for Liquid than it wound up turning into. So definitely not an easy victory that time for Liquid, but we have a double lot set up for the first time coming in for Dignitas. It'll be Mitch and Voltage. Of course, Mitch was, for a short time, full-time opping for Splice, so he's not unfamiliar with the weapon.
A little scared for MCE right here. There is going to be a smoke. Plumes, and he actually jumps through that out of the window. He gets caught by Twists in the underpass. And like what we saw earlier, how Dignitas got those 2 rounds early out of cheekiness is being punished heavily so far. It is a 3-for-0 exchange, only about 65 HP lost on Naf, and it is Voltage and Connor left. And they're split the north and south sides of the map, so you have a 1-1 defense, so your opportunity for saving weapons right now is incredibly minimized. Connor looks to be starting to shift his way back towards Voltage's side, or at least park himself in CT next to the APC here. But to speak to the extent of saving weapons, Team Liquid have more than enough money in the bank to be able to hunt.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually, like thinking about Steel right now, because he was actually playing middle that round and got 2 rifle kills and basically was the main reason why Liquid wins this round so quickly, just winning some key duels out in middle. Most of his career, Steel actually played B apartments, like for all the Brazilian teams he played on. And typically Twist has been more active on this version of Liquid. That's like one of the big things that helped them do well at ESG Tour Mykonos and ESO1 New York before they cut Stanislaw, was Twist being kind of active with the Liege and helping find entries, but they're kind of using Steel to do that a lot on mid-Mirage, and letting Twist kind of play more towards the B apartments. So that's like kind of an interesting role thing I've been noticing with Liquid. They seem to be still trying to tinker with things, and I feel like for them roles are somewhat map specific. So it's just something to keep an eye on as we see Liquid develop going forward. Tournaments like this for them, even though they're a heavy favorite, still is a chance for them to kind of experiment. Because think about it, they just ran 3 lands back to back to back, right? They haven't had a whole lot of time to practice just yet, and so maybe we're seeing them kind of toy around with some things in this game.
We'll end up seeing what develops. So like maybe toying with the idea of how aggressive they played in the 4th and 5th rounds, where they played a little bit over-aggressive and ended up dropping a couple rounds. Dignitas now are down to some pistols, CZs, and single P250, and those are being quickly evaporated as Elige and Naf are just stat padding at this point. Mitch has been spotted as well, and only MCE's left. So if we just throw this round away and think, how can Dignitas find a firing solution to pick up a handful more rounds? Because 2 right now is not enough. Not guaranteeing their rifle rounds in the second half.
It's one of those things where, I mean, they invested in double AWP their last gun round and got nothing out of it. So if you're going to make that type of investment, like, you need to be getting that op into a situation where he's finding an early pick. I feel like sitting back right now is not doing Dignitas any favors. I feel that they need to get Voltage out there with an AWP, finding space, getting an opening pick, doing something, or at least holding something by himself, which allows Rifles to be more dynamic on the map. And it looks like that's the route they're taking. They're putting Voltage anchoring B. They're letting 3 Rifles play aggressive mid, which gives them fast rotations. But for now, Connor's stuck alone on A as he executes pouring in, but Slopes have slowed Liquid down, and now he's got a couple of people who have rotated into connector with him. So, but they're still kind of in a spot where they're going to have to play retake.
Fantastic flashbang. Molotov in there as well. Might cloud some of you, maybe for MCE. And the trades go back and forth. Now, Mitch is going to be the ace up the scene. He's running the long flank through T-spawn, and he's gotten the first, that being Steel. The bomb will be planted, and this is one of the better looks that Dignitas have actually had in a retake situation. They are currently unsuccessful at all in this half in getting a successful retake. Mitch from T-spawn taken down. Now, Voltage coming across on Catwalk now, and Grim's in front of him, up through connector into the stairs, and this is not looking pretty. But at what point do you just call it? You have to win a couple rounds. You've been sitting on max loss bonus for so long. You need to become brave.
To be fair, they did try something different that round. It's not as if they aren't actively making adjustments. I mean, they went for an aggressive mid push that round with 3 riflers, and to be fair, Liquid have often played some players top mid, so I think Dignitas were expecting to find a fight at top middle that round. There's no reason why they shouldn't consider that because of how the map's played out so far, but it just so happens that Liquid decides to go for a full 5-man A execute, and they get stuck in connector playing retake against a bunch of utility that Liquid throws at them. So I don't know, it's just kind of rotten luck at that point.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Team Liquid had been throwing rock, and then all of a sudden Dignitas is, all right, we're going to throw paper. And Liquid are like, all right, they go scissors. They put it through A-main. There's nobody defending it. Look at Twists right now. He at least gets one. It was a 2-man push through underpasses. Dignitas continue to try and pull something fancy. At
least they control top B right now, so this gives them some information with MCE's positioning. It allows them to rotate a little bit more freely, but they equal situation still not where you want to be as a CT team on this map.
Well, with your CTs scattered to the wind, like, for example, Steel was allowed to come all the way through the murder hole. Elige was there to at least get the refrag, but that puts a huge question mark in Dignitas' mind. Where are all these terrorists? They could be literally anywhere on the map. Your 2 defenders, especially for the A site right now, Connor and Voltage. Connor with his UMP spraying across. Nitro comes all around wide with a pistol to recover the frag, and it's still even Stevens 2-2. The bomb's not planted yet. This is one of the slower rounds we've seen played out so far, but Voltage at CT has not much of a shot. Almost lines them both up. There's only MCE left, 1v2, and he's just thrown his last, or second to last piece of utilities, a flashbang to get him into connector. He has no idea where his Nitro's gone, and with the bomb being planted as it is, that Palace position is going to be fantastic to even stop MCE from coming into this realm.
And he gets picked off by Nitro, and it's now just 2 rounds left in the half, and Liquid are far out in front. And again, you know, I have to give some credit to Dignitas. They are taking initiative. At that time, they decided to push underpass instead of top mid, so they're trying different things. They're trying to take the fight to Liquid, but Liquid is always able to use their team play to just trade a little bit more efficiently than Dignitas are. Not to mention Dignitas have, you know, had their economy in ruins through most of this half, so you've seen a lot of buys like this one where they haven't had a lot to work with, and that does catch up to you when you keep getting dealt that hand time and time again. It's just Liquid's a better team through and through. I'm not what else to say.
So far, yeah, they've not only proven that, but they've painted that picture rather well as included. Mitch recovers an AK out of here, but we've seen this play out before as well, with 1 AK being picked up and only a couple players with armor. This time only Grim, but it's going to be a fast play for Liquid. Preemptive with some smokes, arches, and flashbangs in it as well. MCE, great shot. Now Grim's underneath, working for the second kill. But he does a lot, maybe enough for MCE to be able to pick up the pieces. Both Twist and Elige at a combined 34 HP. MCE peeks, spots Twist, and he's biding his time right now for Mitch to be able to arrive with the real pieces of firepower like that AK. 1v1, it is a desperate round for Dignitas to be able to save the day here, but wisely played for Elige. Back up, reset, and force Mitch to think that he's gone either A or a pump fake back to the B site.
The only good thing for Mitch here is that he has a supreme health advantage, and there might be a kit somewhere he can pick up that'll give him that extra time as well, but it may not matter. It all comes down to this interaction. Elige, though, is going to put himself into jungle. They could interact here at window room. It depends on how far Elige wants to push forward.
Oh, the timing.
Did he see his leg?
Did he see him on minimap? If he saw his leg, he'd end up seeing him on minimap. I think he knows.
Yeah, I think so, too.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe not. And there he goes. I thought for sure he would have saw. Obviously, it's a little bit harder for us as spectators, depending on what resolution we're using compared to his resolution, and we can obviously see X-ray outline, so that helps us out a lot. But I thought he just missed him. Then I mean, that's just an unfortunate timing thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, from our perspective with X-ray, sometimes it is difficult because there was only a hairline crack there. If he had even spotted his leg, and you've got 4 extra players watching that perspective as well. Nobody caught it. So it is 12-2 into the top of the 15th round, last of the half. A commanding lead for Team Liquid, but we expected something similar to this. But we said if there was a chance for dignitas, it would be on Mirage.
Last round of the half here, double op and play again for dignitas. Again, they haven't really gotten much out of these ops, to be honest. In fact, you know, Voltage is one of the lower fraggers on the team. So hopefully this will be a different story. Liquid already do have firm mid control.
We've seen this one before. Last time these smokes came in, Team Liquid took that long walk down catwalk. Mitch, though, was ahead of that smoke this time in connector. So that's going to reset Liquid mentally. They can't pull that same strat out of their hat. So they push Naf as well as Steel straight up into the connector to work a crossfire where they see nothing. And dignitas have a great look on the round. 5-on-3 right now. Their op is actually up close. I think it's shifting around towards the default boxes, but that allows connector to be taken advantage of. And suddenly it's a 3-on-3 again. But flankers flanking flankers. Mitch comes up through connector, gets a headshot, but it's not quite enough. Only MCE left, and this was an awesome opportunity for dignitas to pick up this round. There's a chance, but it's quickly dissipating as the bomb begins to tick.
See what he can do up close on a window. Woo! Hits a nice little no-scope there on the Naf. Now on the 1v1, but Twist gets up into a nice forward position, catches him off guard, and gets a 13th round for Liquid, so they are well out in front. That's just a tough one, man, because those last 2 rounds were rounds dignitas could have won. I mean, a 1v1 where you have the health advantage, that was a 5-on-3 that you wind up fumbling. So when you're already well behind and then you're losing rounds like that on top of it, you're in for a bad time. That's really all I can say. But that's going to put us at halftime here for the game. Again, just a quick reminder for you folks that we do have a giveaway going on the stream. If you just look down below, all the information will be there. We're giving away some PCs as well as some cool hardware parts from some of our different sponsors, including the likes of Western Digital, Microsoft, Intel, Samsung, and Radeon. So do be sure to check that out when you get a chance. Yeah, free stuff.
Yeah, exclamation mark giveaway in chat, and you guys can check it out, enter yourselves in to get PC, custom build PC for you. It'd be pretty fantastic. Pretty good hardware included in there as well. I think it was somewhere just shy of like a $1,600 value. So it's a pretty solid PC.
Indeed. I'm not sure how much longer this map is going to last. Liquid are well out in front, and short of dignitas winning pistol and running the board, this one seems to be pretty much in the books, with map 2 being Train, which is actually the pick of dignitas.
Really?
Yes.
That's actually surprising. Maybe they've done some extra homework here. Maybe they have some kind of skeleton key to be able to disarm Liquid on Train.
Maybe. I mean, Liquid hasn't played too much Train. I mean, they've done pretty decently offline on Trains from the tournaments they've played. But it's not like I think their bigger maps have certainly been, you know, Mirage, Inferno. Have been the top 2, but Train, they've definitely shown some poise on it, so I don't know that it'll look any different than this map, to be honest.
Well, yet to be seen. We are into the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Pistols aplenty. dignitas on the T side need to be able to pick this one up. They need as good of a start as they could possibly get. They've come up through connector with an additional player coming in through the Palace. They'll trade a 1-for-1. That'll get them a bomb plant. And a 4-on-4. I like this from the T side. Since been the meta for some time now, it seems, to push your Ts all the way up through ticket booth to secure that region rather than smoking it off. And Mitch catches Nitro jumping into the window as well. So it's a 3-man push straight through the ticket booth right now. They have their weak man up on the front line, that being Aziz. He's quickly taken care of, and the time's ticking. Steel's got the kit, and it seems like Steel's taken one to the face, but only for so much damage. Here's the crux, though. Mitch on the long flank, wrapping around, and a quick headshot to the back of Steel's head will net dignitas that important 3rd round.
Yeah, that round really hinged on Mitch's play inside window room, to be honest, because I think Liquid were kind of anticipating a lot more duel to take place at CT spawn, because that's where dignitas pushed initially when they took the site, but Mitch slipped into window room, caught the first rotation trying to jump into window, and then was the one that was able to flank through CT spawn to close the round. So he's definitely been kind of the beacon of hope for this team. He's, you know, almost double anyone else on his team. He's got 16 kills. Second best fragger in the server, as at least puts her tied for #1. But he's definitely been the difference maker on what few rounds dignitas do have to claim.
Here comes some nice clarity with some smokes to choke off the angles, though sometimes that can punish you if the smokes are coming in and it allows the pistols to get in a little bit tighter for lethality's sake. MCE up to the connector's side, only able to pick up one. There was a target-rich environment at the top of connector right there, and that's where the CTs still do remain. Elige, Twist, and Nafly. Twist has the Desert Eagle, the best piece of firepower that they got, paired up with Nafly. But time's ticking, no kit here either. Maybe it's just exit frags from here on out.
You could also just save these 3 guns and pose a good threat next round. I mean, maybe even a stronger threat than you pose this round, because you still have the 2 Deagles, plus you have the MAC-10, which you can farm cash with later. But unfortunately, Elige's MAC-10 has already been taken out. I'm sure Liquid would have loved to have kept that to, again, have a gun that could get them a bigger cash bonus next round, as they obviously want to build their economy. That's why you see now trying to go for that MAC-10, which he will get. So that is great news for Liquid. It gives them a little bit more to work with in the next round, and potentially a way to maybe even be a bit dangerous and make it expensive for Dig, or just, you know, set themselves up a little bit better their opening gun round.
Yeah, 2 Deagles here. Oh, well, the MAC-10's still around.
Yep.
So yeah, that's better than nothing, but still without armor. It's going to give a lot of viability to the MAC-10s that exist for the Ts, as well as the UMP that's there as well. So dignitas, I would expect, is if they take a couple casualties here, they'll start to fill those holes in the wall with rifles and start to gear themselves up for Team Liquid's
I love this setup from Liquid.
rifle.
They're making sure Elige's the best possible chance to do something with this MAC-10, and he does get the kill onto the Vaulters with the trade by Nitro, and they do have control of Palace now. A Deagle's still out there as well on Map and Twist. Oh, good clearing though from Connor and Graham. They eliminate that threat pretty quickly.
No, but I think you're right. I mean, you make do with what you have, and they got 600 extra bucks from a MAC-10 kill. And, you know, everybody else is going to start to get farmed up themselves as well. Sure, Steel wishes that he had a kill in console. Because, well, actually, the AK takes the kill. The MAC-10 was lurking around there, so 5-13 now. And we'll start to see some weapons getting picked up for Liquid. Is this the nail in the coffin? We'll see.
And this will certainly be Liquid's best chance to go ahead and start working towards closing this, as they are now going to have the AWP in the hands of Nitro. Full rifles for everyone else. Steel a little bit lower with the FAMAS, but still certainly enough to do some real damage with. Let's see what Nitro wants to do with this AWP. Play off the catwalk, and after rifling in middle, tries to spin through the smoke, gets caught, but now Nitro has a chance to maybe try to come out and make something happen. He's getting pushed, misses his first shot.
Oh, he's running out of real estate real quick. That smoke does blossom, but it allows the T's to come cleanly into the site across catwalk itself. It looks like he'll end up going out of the back of the ladder room and join forces in towards the Market Wood. A beautiful flashbang blinds them both. Grim's able to get one, but is he greedy? Nitro starts to fall back, and it looks like there's a full retreated sound for Team Liquid. You already have Connor, though. He's in connector. He should be able to catch these guys moving. But great move from Twist to drop a smoke. That'll at least block off connector and catwalk and everything else, and makes a little bit of space for themselves, because that bomb is still pretty early in its cycle.
Yeah, now it's just left up to Nitro to try to save this one AWP. Misses his shot, gets tagged down to 37, trying to scamper away, but MCE will not allow that. Gets the kill, no gun save for Liquid, and they should be back onto maybe a full save or perhaps some P250s or something, but this should be an easier round for Dignitas is the point. Just, that's kind of like some fortunate circumstances for Dignitas when they do a fast cat push and they kill the guy in window through a smoke immediately. And they riddle Nitro's positioning useless because they put a smoke on ladder room and Nitro's just stuck there with an op, and that means Steel's isolated, and it's just kind of everything stacking in favor of Dignitas at that point.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up coming out of that, because I think you might end up doing some mind setting against Liquid. If they have weapons again like that, pushed into these back-and-back angles, they would probably end up being a little bit more passive on the map. But yeah, Twist catch Connor. I didn't actually see that one develop, but the T's own the site.
Oh, no.
That fly on the backside. I mean, still Twist would have to get a lot of impact here with the AK.
Does have armor behind it. But his team's kind of dwindling around him before he can really get in a position to do much. And without having a kit, they don't have really the luxury of time. But they're making this really expensive on Dignitas to get it down to a 2v2. If they had a kit available, I feel like they could have maybe even made a push for this with Twist having an armored AK and Palace positioning. But instead, they don't have a kit, and they do want to make sure they just carry that AK over to the next round to make it so they have less money they have to spend to get a full buy. And so Dignitas will go ahead and take this 7-13.
Yeah, Twist can. Let's see, it was 5 rounds of loss bonus, so they'll get max out of that. So they'll have the op comfortably. In fact, they could go with a double op play now as well if they so chose, but doesn't seem like that's the case. Twist will hold on to his what he had 5,700 in this round, just spend it on utility wise. So a 6-round lead, only that, and it has quickly started to evaporate. As we've seen perfection from Dignitas's T side so far, and Team Liquid are jumping straight in, jumped right into mid. They've lost the first because of this too. Twist has to throw smoke below him, but they didn't see him drop out as well. He's fighting this one, and a great flashbang comes in. Twist takes advantage of it, and the CTs still hold a man advantage after a flubbed entry into mid.
Oh, then the boost, but Neff doesn't get the shot. Voltage isn't able to respond fast enough. Still comes down to 1v1 in the end, and still is going to win it. What a chaotic round that was. Like you noted, Nitro tried to go for the jump and get on top of the cat railing and get what can be a very tricky angle on mid crossers, but he missed it. Then he tried to escape through connector and got caught, and it was looking grim at that point for Liquid. No pun intended towards Dignitas's player. And then, yeah, just in all the chaos, Liquid still wants to get in the kills they need in middle to win the round in a 1v1. So there you go.
Yeah, that was making something out of a really, really ugly situation. And they managed to win it, but only just, and I mean only just. The thing is, if Dignitas can win this round, they also prevent the 15th, and they give a really, really hard eco reset to Team Liquid. It would likely be double pistols.
Yeah, so the reverse of that, though, is if you lose this, you're on a 4-spot to survive scenario for the rest of the game. It only takes 1 more before you're done. So it's definitely 2 starkly different situations they can find themselves in based on how this round plays out.
So this is Dignitas recognize that there is an opportunity here. Whether they can cultivate that opportunity is yet to be seen. They lose Grim early. The utility for both teams at the 1-minute mark is really light, considering both teams are a little bit bloodied out of here. But the posture right now for Dignitas leads me to believe that they want to exploit mid into A site. So something that's pretty standard, but you only have 1 smoke to work with. That makes the A site really, really open for the CTs to just peek in.
Yeah, Twist and Nitro have a pretty good crossfire here. But Twist is going to just get up close on A ramp instead. They spot Nitro first and allow Twist to come and swing out and grab a peek that they might not expect. And have it Liquid just clean house across the board. Nothing went Dignitas' way on that mid-A split. Don't lose a single player on the Liquid side of things, and it is now a map point for favorites.
Yeah, when you extend into the A site, and what ends up actually even happening there is Team Liquid take an aggressive stance into A main as well, so they basically get, you're expected to lose a body on entry for the T side, but they lose that player 20 yards behind that even. So it ended up just dissolving before it could even really come to fruition for Dignitas. Even then, it would have been a really tough spot. So now they go for a little bit more of a split push. They got Mitch and MCE over towards the B site to show some presence on this side of the map and keep Team Liquid at least playing honest. But you can see Twist down here throws a deep smoke behind A main. And he's waiting to see if any terrorists poke out of there as well. So this kind of puts a little hitch in the step of Dignitas's pace, possibly.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to create pressure at B, like I said, to keep Liquid honest, but they aren't doing enough to pull an extra rotation. And that may not even have been the main goal. It may have just been to hold them there long enough to where they could clear underpass a little bit more safely. But Elige is going to play forward on connector over the smoke, and this is where things could get a little bit tricky for Dignitas if they don't catch Elige out here in connector.
Yeah, Elige needs to stand here. Although they don't actually boost into the window. Instead, it's a single peek from MCE way out wide for a connector peeker. And Twist is up on top of the triple box, or tall box right now, sorry. And the trades come back across even then. Only 2 stand for Dignitas. They need it, or else we go into map 2 and Liquid have that 1 map advantage. And that's exactly what ends up happening. It's just efficient trading from there on out from Team Liquid, and that's something that we've seen all game from them. How many times did we see in the first half where Team Liquid were actually in a 1vx situation and they clutched out every time?
Yeah, Liquid did win all the clutches. They were able to win rounds from behind 3-on-5. And in general, though, they were usually able to trade efficiently throughout the round and always kind of stick ahead. So it's like one of those things where Dignitas were getting beat down by getting out-traded the majority of the rounds. Even the rounds where they did have an advantage, they still couldn't close most of those rounds. So that's kind of a recipe for disaster at that point. I mean, that round, you're trying to go for an A split, but if you can never get connector control, then that's never going to happen for you. At least, by the time they did get control of connector, they were already down 2 players to Liquid. So just not being able to get that map control efficiently enough is really what it boils down to. And just not winning their fights. I mean, outside of Mitch, it felt like everyone else came into that game a little bit cold. But with that said, we are just going to be going to a break before we go to our second map train. But before we do, just want to remind you, we do have that giveaway going on down below. So check out the underlay images, give you all the information down there from iBUYPOWER on some cool giveaways that we're doing. So definitely be sure to go check that out. It's free stuff. It's easy to get involved. So be sure to go check that out. You can also give us a follow over here. The casters, that is. And yeah, we'll be back over on train to finish out this series, perhaps, unless we need a map 3. We'll have to see. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll be right back.